about Canada. The Canadian economy is obviously threatened by trade policy. We have rising interest rates. There's very little room for the Bank of Canada to move as well. What are your thoughts on the Canadian economy and in terms of the market? Where do you see opportunity, and are there any areas of the Canadian market that you'd avoid?
So look, with all that said, the Canadian stock market has had a good year to date.
Yeah.
So for investors, it's actually not been a bad place. But underlying it, yeah, there are some really interesting ways this is all going to play out. So it's kind of like a Plinko game, right? So NAFTA is going to be and trade tension is going to be a topic that is going to continue to be there until this gets resolved. Mainly because of the size of our domestic and U.S. kind of relationship. Second is going to be continued around the energy segment, and so the energy sector continues to be an issue, mainly because we are not benefiting from a global energy price increase, which is actually Canada should be winning from. So until that gets sorted out with pipelines and other issues, I think Canada is in a tough place right now, both in terms of new investment dollars as well as, of course, the actual value of our current production. The interesting things I would say, with all that said, is that I think that there are interesting pockets. I'm not a big bull in general of the Canadian stock market because when I look at all the different industries, there's not a lot of real reasons to drive. I do think that the Bank of Canada is going to be relatively back and forth on on decisions on interest rates and could raise rates, which will be negative for real estate and for things like utility stocks. But I think the bigger concerns I have will be what happens with the energy sector and do we see the energy sector benefit from sort of oil prices. One benefit that I think inflation will have, if we do go into a higher inflation environment, I think that will actually have a positive impact on materials and commodity prices in general. And so we could see a little bit of a resurgence in some of our commodity areas. Materials segment of the market could actually see a positive bid. And if we do sort of see energy prices continue to move, that will also have some positive impact on the Canadian energy sector. I don't know if we'll play as big of an upside as some of the global players. Financials is going to be really coming down to there's the positive tension of interest rates, but the negative tension of really the consumer and the debt loads and some of the risks associated with that. And I think those two things are going to play against each other. The one area that I'm least excited about is probably real estate. I think real estate in Canada is going to be a challenging place, mainly because most of the public REITs are predominantly commercial real estate players. And so for that reason, I think a lot of the retailing type of commercial real estate areas are going to struggle for a lot of underlying trends and also interest rate and economic kind of movement generally. So.